when you get up close, you can see that there's still a lot of construction to be done. Yeah, yeah, man. There's still a lot of construction to be done, but I'm impressed with the quality that's going into the subsurface. In other words, underneath the road. This road bed seems to be very well compacted, because remember, this was once all mud. It was soft clay soil, and these guys have managed to put a very firm bed on this road, and for that I'm impressed. It's another Mahindra Motors vehicle. These guys are working on the surface. Morning. These guys are working on the road surface, putting in, I guess, more of the road bed. And that's actually quite good, because they said the surface here is clay and very soft. I guess they're rerouting, they're tearing up this section of the road, picking up the surface and rebuilding it, which is kind of interesting. So like a revision. So these guys are clearing up the surface, and then now north of here, you can see those high tension lines passing through. As you climb this mound, you can see a lot of the construction. A lot of the ongoing construction here. I think this is the major culvert that was being built. Somebody wanted to see progress on this culvert. This is the main culvert that's being built in this section of the highway, East Coast Bypass Road. These guys are putting in some major girders over the canal. See if you can get down here, get a little closer. So this is what is happening. They're putting in some foundation work for this culvert, major foundation work for this culvert. Come on. So these guys are putting in some major construction for this culvert. It's actually quite long. It's about 100 meters or so, maybe 50 meters. There's a bit of construction here. They're putting in steel girders to carry the road bed. And these guys, of course, are working on putting in. Cuba. This guy's from Cuba. So these are these guys from Cuba. Construction workers from Cuba working on the roadbed. Here another major culvert being constructed. Like I said, a lot of these culverts are needed because what was here before was canals for the plantation, the original plantation. All of this was once sugar plantation land, and these canals were built for irrigation purposes. And this is a major construction over the culverts. These culverts are major construction works over the canals. They're required because of the canals that were once part of the morning, part of the plantation. But this is significant progress because the last time we were here, there was a foundation road, but there was not a whole lot else. Now it seems as if they have managed to lay the road. The roadbed in most cases have been completed, and now they're laying the final surface on some parts of it and completing the roadbed foundation on other parts. So this is definitely some progress, significant progress since the last time we were here in this neck of the woods. And we're actually walking now on the side. This is kind of the truck route for construction traffic carrying construction materials, trucks carrying construction materials into the work zone. And it's because there's a whole lot of activity on the road itself that's being constructed. Last time we were here, there was not any activity on the road. As you can go back and check those videos, we could walk on the roadbed without running into construction workers like we are now. But that shows significant progress. A lot of progress has been made, and it tells you that they're not far from completing. Morning. They're not far from completing this East Coast Road. There are some more trucks now coming straight ahead. Construction traffic carrying a lot of the construction material to the work sites. See if you can get out of the way of these guys now. Yeah, man. Yeah. These guys are carrying construction materials. Carrying construction materials to the work sites. And working on the roads. So yes, major progress here. We're now, I think, at least halfway towards the East Bank Public Road Heroes Highway on the western section. That is the east-west section of the road. And from what I can see, there is significant progress. I would say this part of the road is at least, 30% maybe? 30 to 40% completed based on where the south, north, southbound lanes are, which already have road markings and street lights and all that stuff, or at least the light poles. I would say they are 90% completed. And northbound, well, 75 to 90%, depending on where you are. Closer to Ogle, it's actually closer to 90% completed. But this is what's happening here, guys, at the East Coast Bypass Road. Last time we were here might have been 6 months ago. And while I was impressed that there was a road, in other words, there was a path through, you could go all the way through on foot. And there were people who were driving it, getting off and using this side road, this construction road for a while. Now I can see that it's beginning to look like a good road connecting the East Coast and the West Coast, East Coast and the East Bank. Now straight ahead, you can begin to see the interchange at Eccles. That's straight ahead. Some of those buildings are beginning to come in sight. But the road, I think, is going to be, I don't know, but at least 8 miles now. I thought it was about 7 miles the last time I made the trek. But now I kind of have to revise my estimate because it seems as if it's closer to 8 miles, the distance between the East Coast Junction and the East Bank Junction at Eccles. But this is where we are now. Yeah, you can begin to see the buildings at the Eccles interchange. There are a number of warehouse buildings out front there. There is the landfill. The Hags Bosch landfill is out there. And you can also begin to see the bridge. You can see those pillars for the bridge across the Demerara River. Those are beginning to appear to be visible from this point. And we're at this point at least 4 miles away from the bridge. So on a clear day, you could probably see that bridge from 4 or 5 miles away. Now let's see if we can get back onto the roadbed. Kind of muddy out here. I guess we crossed a little too early. This is what it looks like now. Gonna have to do foot wash, wash my shoes once I get home, but here we are heading west. So this is the state of completion of the East Coast Bypass Road. Probably completed about 13 miles now. 13 miles of our 17-mile trek this morning. Another 4 miles for me to complete the circuit. But this road, we're now thinking is at least 8 miles. 8 or 9 miles now that I've had the chance. The last time I actually made the circuit, I think it was 17 miles based on my GPS tracker. The complete circuit was 17 miles, so I know it's 5 miles from my home to Ogle front till about 5.5 miles. That means at least 12 and another 3 miles to Eccles interchange. That's 5 and 3, 8, 9. and 817. So this should be at least 8 miles. This section from the Eccles interchange to Corridor Park intersection, morning, is at least 8 miles. Good job, good job. So that's what's happening here, guys. That's what's happening in this neck of the woods. If we look back where we've come from, you can see a whole lot of activity. We were on the side road for a good stretch because we didn't want to be walking among the construction vehicles. But here we are back on the road itself. Did actually have to trek through a lot of mud. So that tells me you don't yet have a way to drive all the way.
Miles. Duration 4 hours 31 minutes 20